That's
tough.
funny.
That's the way it goes.
All right. Well, we are officially at 4:00, and we are now currently about to live stream. So as soon as I see the video and I can mute myself, there we go. So I don't have to hear myself twice. We're all set. Well, welcome everybody to our webinar, Promoting Inclusive Learning with Book Creator. And I am really excited to have the Inclusive 365 peeps here today so that they can do the whole webinar. So I love these because I get to sit back and enjoy and learn something myself. So without further ado, I'm going to let them take it over. I'm going to turn off my video and I'm going to let Mike and Beth and Karen, and I think Chris, if Chris gets here, I'll keep my eye out.
Chris is
There he
here.
is.
There he is, and Chris too. I will let you all take it over, introduce yourselves, and have at it. So thanks again for joining us, everybody.
Thanks, John. Appreciate it. Hey, everybody. Good afternoon. Chris, incredibly good timing, just as John's kicking it over to us. Impressive how you do stuff like that.
That's how it works.
Yeah, it works for sure. Hi, everybody. It's good to see you. We're excited to be here with you, sharing some information, and we have people from all over. It's been great seeing your information pop up in the chat as we go, so that's been wonderful. We will give you an open invitation to share whatever you would like in the chat, obviously within reason. Don't go off script completely, but please share things. We'd love to hear from you as we go through. I think we'll take us down some paths as we talk today, but I'm sure there's other ideas that we can all learn from each other. So please, you have an open invitation to join us in the chat and share.
So
we did assign pages to each other, but I just realized we did not assign the first 2 pages to anybody.
Therefore, it's your pages, Mike.
Okay, so they're my pages, and I'll introduce myself, and then we'll go around the group. Follow your speech bubbles on the page there as we go through. So hi, everybody. I am the first member of the Inclusive 365 team that you will hear from. And my name is Mike Murata. I am coming to you today from New Jersey. I am an assistive technology specialist. You'll hear us all say these kind of things, but I don't like calling myself that. I like calling myself an inclusive tech evangelist. It just sounds cooler and it looks really cool on a business card. And so that is what I do. I go in and out of schools and support educators as they work with learners to integrate technology effectively. In addition, I am also the director of our New Jersey Assistive Technology Act project, which ensures that everyone across New Jersey gets access to information about assistive technology to make them more independent. So we're glad to be here with you today.
I guess I'm next in line in our picture there. So I'll introduce myself. I'm Beth Poss. I am from Maryland, and I'm a speech language pathologist, educator, former school administrator, by formal job descriptions. I currently work full-time for LessonPix, which is a small company that creates visual supports, but I am also a private consultant, and I actually prefer to call myself an inclusion advocate. So we've all come up with our, what we really think we should be called based on what we actually do. So I am an inclusion advocate.
And hello, everyone. I'm Karen Janowski coming to you from north of Boston, and I am an inclusive technology consultant, proselytizer, zealot, advocate, all of the above. And I am so excited to see we've got people from all over the world in this webinar: Portugal, Italy, Canada. Those are just some of the ones I saw. So excited to share the incredible features that are built into Book Creator that make it a truly wonderful inclusive learning tool.
I guess that's me. So my name is Chris Bouguet, and I am the one not wearing sunglasses in that picture. I am also a drinker of milkshakes, like you can see in that picture. And I am the job title that I have is called Assistive Technology Specialist, but I like to think of myself as an inclusive design facilitator who works with people who design educational experiences. And if you're going to design an educational experience, you might as well design it for everybody with an awesome tool like Book Creator. So that's us. Let's get into it.
I agree.
So, you know what? We created our presentation using Book Creator, right? So it's a book. And if you want to be able to have this book so you can have all of the tips and ideas that we're providing. You can use that QR code there, or you can use that bit.ly/inclusive365. And hey, Mo Booty, I know her too.
So as we start, let's paint the picture of what our thought process is as we move through this. We think about this idea, and you can already tell from our introductions. And we love this tool. I feel comfortable saying that for everyone here, we love this tool because of the flexibility of what it allows us to do with engaging content. And we have these conversations a lot in education about engagement and keeping learners engaged and making engaging materials. And so we thought we'd give you a little progression here about good to better to best. And so when we think about that, we think about engaging as being good, engaging and accessible, better. And then finally, as we move through it, engaging, accessible, and empowering is the best. Thinking about this way that not only a tool or a support that provides an opportunity for us to share with learners, but learners to then share back with us, and allows them to demonstrate all the great information they have and all the great, exciting things they want to share with the world. So if John was to turn his camera back on and jump in, but I'm not forcing him to. If he was, he could spend an hour just telling us about how he empowered his learners to do this. And it's so funny that John and I have known each other for years, and it started from the amazing book creator books he would post up online from his class, just giving his learners that opportunity to have what they want to share shared with the world. It was amazing. To this day, I still show some of John's books from my iPad when I demonstrate Book Creator.
And I appreciate that, Mike.
It's always great. I always love those books from those learners. They're amazing. So that's kind of the framework that we'll paint as we go through this, and we'll kind of swerve in and out as we move through from features to strategies of how you could use it. We'll ask you to share some ideas. So get ready, get those typing fingers ready to share in the chat some ideas that you might have, and we'll have a fun conversation as we move through.
Okay, let's think about technology use in general. This is just a simple statement that I hope sticks with you from now till forever. And it's just a very simple statement to say, technology should just work. It should just work. It shouldn't be a lot of work. It should just work. And it should just work for you, no matter who you are, no matter what your abilities are. It should just work. And this is one of the reasons you see the heart emojis about Book Creator, because the developers behind Book Creator sort of get that it should just work no matter who you are. Just recently, a couple months ago, there was a huge update to Book Creator with over 230 and more accessibility improvements, so that you don't have to go looking for features or how do I turn this on? It just works. Now you can go look at this. This is actually, if you got the link to the book that has been put in the chat, or that was in the previous slide, this is actually a link that you can click to and takes you to a blog post that lists out some of the heavy hitters, some of the most popular ones, and then also a whole list of all of the accessibility features that have been added to just make the product work, because that's what technology should do. It should just work.
And John put the link in the chat. So thank you, John.
So when we want things to just work, and when we think of it from the lens of inclusive design, what are some of the most important features that you think of that you want to ensure all of your learners have access to? And what are some of the main ones that benefit everyone? And I think we could all agree that text-to-speech, read-aloud features are really a crucial feature that promotes independence for so many of our learners. And I want to say, I have to go back to the slide 2 slides ago, a Chris Bugaj quote that I think everybody needs to know. Engaging is not always empowering, but empowering is always engaging. And when we think about empowerment, when we use features like the read aloud text to speech features, we are empowering kids for independence. They no longer need to depend on an adult to read content to them. And what's really phenomenal is, guess what? The Read to Me text to speech feature is built right into Book Creator. And if you go into the select, maybe Mike, if you go up to the read to the settings feature, actually you can go there too. So if you go into the settings feature, look at all of the options you have the ability to highlight words. Who benefits from that kind of feature? You have the ability to automatically play the multimedia as the page is turned. You have the ability to adjust the voice and adjust the voice speed. So you've got a lot of flexibility even built into those kinds of options. And then if you go into the Read to Me, let's try that out on this page, Mike. So did you?
Icon for text to speech showing a document with a speaker in front of it. Text to speech. Icon for checkbox. Select Read to Me button.
Okay, so we can pause
Cartoon
that.
image of character.
You didn't want to hear the
What did you
description of your
notice?
cartoon image?
What did you notice? We added the accessibility feature of alt text to those icons, and guess what? It even read the alt text. It's already built in. That, how phenomenal is that? That Book Creator even thought to automatically read the alt text. So, so the ability to customize the Read to Me feature is really awesome. And I hope you're already using that tool, that particular part of Book Creator. But that's just a starting place.
Can I jump in? Looks like John has a question. He says, I've been told Alex is one of the best voices for accessibility. Is that true? So my thought here is, why not let the person who's choose, let them explore some different voices and choose the one that is best for them. Again, empowering the learner to make the choice, and then asking them reflective questions afterwards. Hey, you picked that voice, you picked that speed, you made those choices. How'd that work for you? What would you do differently? What do you think you do different next time?
It's such that's such an easy thing we can do to empower a learner to take control of that learning experience, is have them choose the voice that works for them. And my thought always, in kind of a half sarcastic way, is I don't really care what the voice is. I'm not the one reading it. You are. So pick the voice that works for you. Pick the speed that works for you. Show everyone where these features are so that they have that ability to move these things too. Because I think sometimes people get the misconception that you set a speed once for a voice and never touch it again. And that is not true. I have many learners who will adjust that depending on the content they are moving through. And so you want them to have access. I have so many conversations with educators where they're like, I don't like showing the settings to my learners because they're just going to be in there poking around in the voice for 2 days. And it's funny, when I train adults, they're poking around in the voice for the first 10 minutes. That's what you're doing. You're poking to learn. You're playing with it and exploring. We should give them that opportunity to do that too, because that's building an expertise with the tool along with customizing it for whatever works for them. Oh, it's me. Look at that. I just could have kept talking. I didn't even realize I was next. So as we go through, think about these kind of those features that you should automatically be using. Like, yeah, of course, text to speech, phenomenal. The flip side of it, and I saw someone put it in the chat before, is using the speech to text, using the opportunity to give learners a way to get information out into a book. So we're talking about this idea of empowering a learner. I was just talking to an educator yesterday, and she was kind of marveling at the difference in the amount of output from her learner, just because she said, you can dictate if you want. And she gave that permission, and the student wasn't sure if they were able to, which was great to be able to say, yes, of course, you can do anything you would like that's going to help you. And she showed me what this student produced, and it was 3 paragraphs. Now, I don't agree with the content. Chris is going to laugh. I don't agree with the content of what he wrote. He explained why Morbius was the best Marvel movie ever. All right, I don't agree with that, but he did write 3 paragraphs, an incredibly long passage. And I have to admit, he started to sway me a little bit. But really what was great is that she explained that this is a student that does not write. When the word processor's open, he will just sit there and wait and just kind of stare at the blank page with that flashing cursor. I mean, I think that's the worst thing that could happen for anyone that struggles a bit with writing, is a flashing cursor on an empty page. Scariest thing in the world. But using that microphone and giving people that opportunity to use whatever method works for them in order to get things in. So you think about that speech to text has support for over 120 languages. It's right in the text box as you open it up when you're creating your book. It gives you a blank box with the cursor that you could type away, or go to the top right corner and hit that microphone and drop that in there. So incredibly simple step. And in fact, we'll use that later when we ask you all for ideas. We'll open up a text box and we'll just dictate them back in as we read them out of the chat. So we'll
I'm just going to add one thing. So for anyone that thinks, well, is that really writing? Is that cheating? I want to ask you if you've ever used the dictation feature, like Siri, or the dictation feature on your phone instead of having to text. Remember, look how practical that is for you, right? Sometimes that it's just too hard, for me with my thumbs, I can't move as fast, right? Well, think about that same learner who may be struggling with the motor complexity of writing, who may be struggling with the spelling there, to be able to get their ideas onto paper, so to speak, right? So,
and like Celeste says in the chat, it's like magic,
right?
Yeah, Celeste says it's like magic for her students, and it is. Isn't that the best kind of technology, where it's like magic? It opens a world, and just think about that idea of being able to dictate in to get text, and then use the read to me to hear it back, what you wrote, and it's unbelievable, fantastic.
I love John. That's awesome.
Hey, Mike, can I interrupt for 1 second?
Yeah, of
I did
course.
see a question, and I want to make sure I answer this, and it's probably
go
better
ahead.
than typing it, just to say it out loud. So the speech to text itself will not translate. So if I speak it in English, I will not get it to translate into Spanish. But if I speak in Spanish and choose Spanish from the dropdown, then it will do it. So it's not a true translation, but it will record whatever your voice is and put it in that language. So I just want to make sure we clarified that. But other than that, yep, keep it moving.
Good, thank you. That's a good clarification. Appreciate it.
So I'm going to talk a little bit about another set of inclusive speech features. It'd be good if I could speak right now. Another set of inclusive features, and that's the ability to use accessible multimedia to support learners. I know when I use Book Creator with a learner, what they enjoy the most about it is being able to make this book that has more than just text, right? It's able to have, we're going to talk about a few different features, right? So let's talk a little bit about images and drawings. So we talked about the speech to text, right? But you can even use that in your built-in image search. So one of the features is having that built-in image search, where, right, yeah, if you go in there and you can go to images and you can look for an image, and you can use that text to speech, that microphone there, in order to find your images. I also love the fact that the images it searches for are images that are usable, right? They're in the public domain, or they are in Creative Commons, right? They're from Pixabay. They're from a resource that students are able to use. So we're right from the get-go teaching digital citizenship with that appropriate search. You send kids out to Google, which you can actually get to from here. And I have taken my kids out to Google when we couldn't find exactly the picture that we needed from Pixabay, but it's teaching kids that digital citizenship right away. And we're going to talk a little bit about that alt text as well in just a minute. So if you want to close that, and then we'll go back. I love
anything else you want to show it while I'm in edit?
Yeah, sure. I just
Yeah.
needed to see what it was. Actually, here I've got it on my other screen. Okay, yeah. So the autocomplete drawings, if like me, you can't draw a stick figure to save your life, this is so cool. So you want to like draw a heart, go ahead and draw a heart. So there's a range of different drawing tools, but if you select the autocomplete drawing, it will start. And so, oh, Mike, your heart is
I
like,
tried to make one really bad. wanted
I
to see-
know, but it's so bad that I don't see the heart coming up on there. There we
I'll
go.
draw
So
another
you
one.
instead made
I'll draw another one.
if you can't find what you want. But the really cool thing, there we go. We're probably going to get a heart in there somehow or other. All right, we need to fix the heart part. It's okay, we're good. It's going to give you options for hopefully it's going to intelligently find what year. It's so good it doesn't need help, right? And so it gives you that ability. And for me, that's a game changer when I want to put something in there. I don't know what you're getting to right now.
Sorry.
Okay. So I also love. So while you're right there in there, Mike, you can add feedback and sticker. You can add feedback stickers and GIFs. So actually go down to the comment button there. So it's all the way down, all the way down. There you go, comment button,
sorry.
all the way down. So as an educator, I can either give feedback to my students or my students can give feedback to each other, but they can use GIFs, right? And they can use stickers. So there's a few different ways. And if you click to add comment, there at the bottom, you'll see some of your choices, right? You can use emojis, you can use voice, you can use video, all of those things. But I love being able to add those feedback stickers and GIFs as well. And I believe you can also add, if you want to X out of there somewhere, cancel, and go up to that plus sign and go to more. I believe under more, you can also add animated emojis and Giphy and feedback stickers right in there as well. So go ahead and add a fun one in there. There we go. So I can both add it as a comment to my learners. So I'm getting that support of that. They don't need to be the perfect reader in order to be able to do that. And my authors, my student authors can add animation in there. There's also a shapes tool, and that's pretty self-explanatory, right? And that's under that plus sign. And then don't forget about the alt text. So if you go, you're on that image right now, and if you clicked on the eye, Mike, you should be able to add, it actually added some alt text automatically. So for that particular one, it added some alt text automatically. It was already in there, but now it'll add that alt text so that somebody using a screen reader tool would be able to know exactly what that image is.
The other thing, and Beth, I don't know if you added this. I was clicking all the buttons. Did you mention the idea in the comments that you can use your video or microphone?
Right, you can use your video or you can use your record sound to add comments as well. And we're going to talk a little bit more about how you can do that in the body of it too. So if you hit the next page, sir. So it's not just images and drawing, it's audio also, right? You can insert audio into pages to support reading. So you there's actually you can always add recordings in there that way. And we have like a button on there that's got some audio already. Learners can insert audio into that page to demonstrate their understanding, right? So we've got it two ways. So the first bullet is about maybe you're going to insert some audio into a page to support that reading. So maybe you've created a book and you're going to have a button on there, maybe to expand on something that's beyond the text for them to be able to hear. But learners can also insert audio into that page to demonstrate their understanding. Oh, yes. So Mo is asking in the chat, any chance we can get these comments? So yeah, at the end of, before we log out, there are where you type your responses to the chat and there's 3 little dots in the chat. And if you click on that, it's going to allow you to save your chat. So make sure that you do that. I don't know the answer, Diane, if you can insert a visual timer. Maybe there's a GIF with a timer that would have.
Diane, that's a great question.
Yeah, so a great question. There might be a GIF with a timer, but the other option is if you have a timer website that you love to use, if you can copy that link, or if it has an embed code, you can embed that right into a page.
There you go. So that's the question. And then the last bullet on that page, it says, don't forget the transcript. So if you click down on where we've got that button, so I've got the recorded there, but then if you click on that, I also put in the transcript of what I said. So I'm able to appeal to learners regardless of how maybe somebody, if they are just hearing it, it's too hard for them to hold on to that information. Maybe somebody who's just reading it, they can't decode all of that information. And so you're able to you're able to experience it either way. And then I've got one more slide, I think, over there, which is just about, nope, this one is yours. I give it up now.
That's okay. The one thing about the transcripts, when you click the audio button to select it, if you go to the eye, that gives you
exactly.
Add
You
transcript.
can add a transcript.
It will generate it automatically, and then you can always edit that transcript as it goes. And John's dropping those in the chat, which are awesome. I'm wondering if maybe all of you as participants don't have the 3 dots to save the I'm going to guess that's what it is. So one of us will remember before we hang up to save it, and we'll attach it into the book as a link. How about that?
Perfect. There we go.
But now I have to remember to do that now that I said I would do it.
We'll all 3 remember to do it.
Perfect.
All
Somebody
4.
will do it. Ooh, you said 3, which gets me off the hook. All right, you 3.
I
do it.
know.
Okay, perfect.
I'll remember it. Sticky
All
note.
right. And the other thing we think about inserting multimedia in is looking at ways to drop video in as well, as perhaps an alternative to writing. Anything that you were going to add in to increase engagement, so to share information, perhaps it's video sharing back with you so they can demonstrate what they know about something or answer a question or do those kinds of things. Same idea when we're in this demonstration in the edit mode. I just want to make sure. Yeah, okay, I did have a second page. I'll go to this one and do it. When you think about video, you could certainly do it in your edit mode from the plus and then go to camera and record a video. I don't think my video is going to let me now because I'm using my camera for Zoom right now, so it's probably not going to let me. But also the other thing that I did want to show is if you have a video already, you can add that just like you would add an image. And if you go to images, do the plus sign and go to images and upload from your computer, here's a video I shot on my phone before, and we can all sit here while it loads it up. We could stare at the little thing, but that's okay. It should only take a second. It's pretty short. But what now you're giving someone the ability to do is, in essence, take video from anywhere. Video they already have. Maybe they're out and about in the community and they take a video for something that they want to drop into a book to share what they're doing or share what they know. Now that video can be dropped in there. It will process that video and it will show up in our book, hopefully. If not, we'll push it to the side and I'll show you the other video. There it is.
There you go.
So there's the video that I shot just this afternoon. You can tell because I'm wearing the same exact shirt, sitting in the same exact spot I was when I shot it. But a short video.
Hey everybody, this is an example of taking a video from my computer, uploading it into my book, and then using the auto caption feature. Enjoy.
But you say, well, that's really great, Mike, but I don't see that auto caption feature, but that's okay. I haven't captioned it yet, which is critical to our videos. Here's an example at the bottom of a video with the captions inserted.
So we saw on the last page that there are over 230 accessibility updates to Book Creator. What are you using to make sure your materials are engaging and accessible to all your learners?
So that's the ability to add the captions in. At any video I drop in, I select that video, go back to the eye, add captions, and they will generate automatically. We'll get out of this as they're doing it. We can pop back. But now it's processing that video piece, dropping in those captions, and then they will appear in that video when I hit play, when I go back to play the book. Simple steps we can take to demonstrate the value of accessibility to everyone. I use this phrase a lot. I like the idea of it and what it implies when we think about using it in our classrooms. We're creating a culture of accessibility that is just accepted. That is something we do. It's not something special that happens because someone's in our class that needs it. No, everybody can benefit from that. So we do that just across the boards. It is just, if you're putting a video in, you automatically add captions. If you're putting a picture, you automatically add the alt text. If you're putting audio, you automatically put the transcript there. And so now here's our video.
Hey everybody, this is an example of taking a video from my computer.
And you see how fast that was to do. That was easy, quick and easy. And it demonstrates to everyone that we are an inclusive learning environment. We are ensuring that everyone is included to the fullest extent we can as we move through our materials.
And I just wanted to add on, just to really emphasize that point that Mike just made. It is so easy to add alt text. It's right there under that eye, right? It is so easy to add these features. Oftentimes when we're in other tools that students are working in, it's a little more convoluted. There's multiple drop downs that they have to go to and then another. Sometimes those things are like kind of get hidden where it is on the page. But Book Creator just makes it a part of it. So again, if we use this as a way of creating that digital citizenship, that accessibility is a part of digital citizenship.
So another feature, another awesome, under the hood, you got to look a little deeper for some of these. And this is one of those that might be a little bit hidden, but what a great way to think about using the strategy of sequencing events or redesigning a story, changing the order of a story. So if you go up to the pages view, Mike.
Sure.
And here's where you can sort different pages and bring about a different result. Maybe you're telling a story, maybe you're recreating something, and maybe you've disordered different activities. And this is where a learner could go in and reorder events, redesign an experience, whatever, maybe it happened one way and they wish that it happened a different way. There's so many different ways to think about using this page sorter view to sequence different events, different activities, change, redesign, reimagine. And again, this is a hidden feature that you may not even have realized is possible.
I love this idea, Karen. When I saw that in there, when we were making this and that got dropped in there, I thought, oh, that's so awesome, because it's a feature we all go to, but it's thinking creatively of how to use it as an opportunity for learning. I've been in this pages view the whole time we've been building this book, and when I saw that, I'm like, well, yeah, of course we could do that. That's great. Yeah,
that was a great idea for Chris. Chris added that.
Chris, like, good job.
The temporal concepts: first, next, last, beginning, awesome. Middle, end, all kinds of things.
Excellent. Yeah, I think the other thing you can do there, and it segues great into this idea of comics, is Karen, you have mentioned, and it was on the slide, about scaffolding. So some learners might create the entire book themselves. Others might have a partially created book and their idea is to finish it. And others might be working in the same book and sequencing in a different order. Imagine going out on a community-based intervention trip, taking pictures of the field trip that you're on. You come back and then you put them in sequential order. It's just really a great strategy to work on sequencing. Okay, awesome. Now how does that dovetail into comics? Well, I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that comics and graphic novels are the most underused strategy in all of education. That here, most school-age learners love comics. They love creating comics. They love reading comics. They can put, it's a multimodal experience where there's text meshed with images, so that you can make some context out of what people might be saying. So, and again, you can scaffold these comics. If you go over to the next slide, Mike, you can scaffold them up and down because, again, you could have a comic that is completely blank, create a comic. Another could be, here's some comics where they've been created, but some of the thought bubbles or some of the speech bubbles are left blank. You fill them in with text. Or there's speech bubbles, you fill them in with the GIF or with the character that you'd like. Or some of the thought bubbles or speech bubbles are filled in and some are not. And the idea here is that you can have everyone working in sort of the same idea of creating a comic, but different levels of support that based on the needs of the individual. And comics are fun, man.
I was just gonna say that. They're just fun. Come on.
You know what's the best comic? Morbius comics.
I would imagine it. I'm convinced now after yesterday, after reading that. I think you're right. You need to add anything to this?
No,
you
I think you can create comics from the template right from the beginning of the book there. And then if you were to choose one of those templates, when you go over to the plus sign to add things, there's different there's different backgrounds that you can add to say, okay, this is only a 2-panel comic. This is a 4-panel comic. There's where you get your speech bubbles and your thought bubbles, and you can bring in everything that you're used to.
So let's talk a little bit about another strategy that I really love using Book Creator for, is to support interpersonal skills or perspective taking with social narratives. So people are often familiar with social stories, and social narratives is just more the generic term for it. Social stories is actually a term that's coined by Carol Gray. So it's her term. Social narratives is just a little bit broader, but essentially a social story or a social narrative is a story or a narrative that's written to support an individual or a group by promoting social and behavioral responses to a new or a challenging situation. It's not so much about, I think now we're all very aware of trying to make sure that when we work with individuals, maybe on the autism spectrum, that we're not trying to ask them to mask, but using a social story is a way to understand perhaps what an appropriate or what a more effective behavior might be, or a response to a situation. And so a social story can really help learners adjust to changes, adapt to behaviors, or teach specific social skills. And yes, you could definitely use comics to create social narratives. And what I really love about Book Creator is that the inclusive features of Book Creator support independent access to the social narratives by learners for review and reinforcement. Part of the reason it's called a social narrative is that it's something you read aloud, you talk about, there's often role playing that goes along with it, but then being able to have that for that learner to review, whenever they need to, like maybe, hey, I want to make sure that you are, go ahead and take a look at that during your morning routine so that you are ready for, I think we're going to have a fire drill this afternoon. So go ahead and take a look at that. So you're ready for that fire drill. So you're ready for the coping skills that you might need to be able to manage that well. Social narratives can definitely include embedded videos and have video modeling as a part of that social narrative. So there's so many really awesome features that you can use with that. And at a very simplistic level, if you want to turn the page, Mike, at a very simplistic level, a social narrative is just providing a situation that might be challenging, like when I'm angry, and then providing solutions for it. So I can take a walk. So it's even something that a learner can help generate themselves, right? So it might be something that you can have modeled for a learner, and then they can generate themselves and be able to use that. And so using those animated GIFs, right? Got another one in there. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. Sorry. I got click happy. Sorry.
Karen, you've got a.
Yeah, and another thing to think about too, we talk a lot about helping as part of social narrative and working on social emotional development. We think about perspective taking, and that's often a challenge for some of our learners. And this is a really non-threatening way to help learners experience what it could possibly, what someone is experiencing. And, what are they thinking? What are they feeling? Where would they rather be? And you can embed all sorts of pictures into that and encourage the learner to add some text, some thought bubbles or speech bubbles. You can even have them take pictures of classmates and add in some content too, to help them really understand what it is to take the perspective of a peer or another child. And so it's, again, built right into an option as Book Creator.
And John dropped in the chat the link to the story that I think, John, is the one that I have on my iPad still that I show all the time, because I feel like that's what it is.
And right. Yeah. I added that particular emoji because, again, you don't even have to add images. They can be cartoon, they can be emojis that show different experiences that a learner can react to.
Right. So, hopefully that gave you some creative ways to think about how you could use Book Creator. And I would love to see in the chat if people have things that they're doing with it that you'd like to share. We can actually put them into the book right now and have them in there. So if you have something.
So I know some people put some things in, but we'd love to hear some additional ideas. We had a few people that said that they're writing social stories. And I'm scrolling up through the chat.
Well, I saw one about wordless picture books and the idea that there's pictures and then people get to write their own story, and how then compare the vastly different stories that were generated about the same picture. That's awesome.
And wouldn't it be amazing? We've got people from all over the world. What if we created a collaborative book of some of the participants in this chat? And in this webinar, because we've got people from all over the country, all over the world. Be so fun to write a collaborative book with all of our great new ideas.
Jane dropped one in the chat.
Karen, I want
to
take that idea and mention something here once. So for a while, we did these things called the TWIMA projects. And basically the idea was how many classrooms can we get a classroom from every country and every state in the world to come together to write a book? And we've written 9 different versions of that TWIMA project. And it sounds a little overwhelming at first, but it's so easy to just meet with other people, and say, hey, let's write a book together about where we live, and something simple like that idea really opens the doors for students to, realize that there's more out there than just their school or just their community or just their state, that there's a large world and we can all connect. So it's pretty cool.
That is really cool. I remember, John, one of the things you did, I think it was ISTE back in 2019, you started a book of people who were going, and everybody who was going to be there added their own page, a little bit about me, the things I'm excited about for the conference. And then you were able to flip through it and see your other peers who might be there that you could connect with.
Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome.
That was fun.
Yeah. I see in the chat from Joe, do you know if it's possible to add your own GIFs, or do you have to use those on Giphy? John, where'd you go?
Yeah, so right now I'll leave my camera on now for some questions. For right now, unfortunately, you cannot add your own GIFs. That's something we hope to be able to add in the future.
A good question.
Oh, so then ignore what I just put, because I thought it would be just like any other image or video that you can add your own, but I guess that file format doesn't come through.
It does not. It's weird. It's weird because I've done it before where I've tried to embed a GIF, and sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. So right now, the only officially supported saved or GIF is using the Giphy feature within the apps. But hopefully, again, something we can change in the future. Hopefully.
So maybe we can. Oh, go ahead, Chris.
Well, I was just going to comment on Jane's link here to the different books that are being created for the different AAC applications and teaching core vocabulary. I mean, I see that you wrote that there, Beth, as or Mike, that you wrote that as idea number 1. But if you haven't clicked on that link in the chat, check that out. Jane, well done.
Well done.
So, but Book Creator would be a great tool to use for making these exactly same sort of books and to crowdsource them.
I like Joe's comment that he put in the chat too about making your audio invisible in a book so that it feels like a narrated photo story. So in essence, you would put the picture over the audio bubble and you wouldn't see it. And then as the book played, it would just automatically play that audio and just go to the next page, which is an awesome idea. Love that.
So
And
maybe what we can do, the chat has so many awesome ideas
amazing.
and web link and embedded links. So maybe we could just copy it all and save it to a Google Doc and embed that link on this particular page so that there'll be a place for everyone to either add to or, refer back to. So many awesome ideas being shared.
We'll do that when we're done. We'll
Yeah.
we'll pull the chat down as a doc. We'll put it up in our Google Drive. We'll create a shareable link and we'll drop it in there so that you'll all be able to get to it.
I know I love Michaela, I don't know if it's Michaela or Micah's idea about recording, creating phonics book to support parents, right? Because it's so easy to share these books. It makes it really easy to share resources with families as well and have those connections with families. And I've actually found that to be particularly effective with a family that I worked with. That they really, really have appreciated seeing their child's work and being able to have it. And that brings up the idea of writing for an authentic audience is very, very powerful. And when learners write and they know that they can share the book, and you can set different parameters for the sharing, right? You can either share it with a select group of people, you could share it with the world, you can share it with a particular class, but knowing that you're writing for someone other than just your teacher is a really powerful and empowering way to utilize this, right? We write as adults because we don't write just for the sake of writing. Most of us, I mean, some of us may write, keep a diary and you're just writing, for that. But most of us write because we need to share information with someone, right? Or we have a specific purpose in mind with our writing. And learners need to see that writing is more than just writing for a grade for your teacher.
Yeah, I brought up just so that we get a sense of that sharing piece. I went back to our library homepage and up to the sharing option, which this is already being shared. And this shows you how we could share it. We could keep it private just to the people that are in this library. This book is public. Everybody's able to get it. We've also put this book out there to allow remixes. So if someone else wants to use some of this information in a new book they're creating, that gives the ability to do that with credit being retained by the original authors, which is again, we talk about this idea of digital citizenship and social responsibility online. These are great ways to show that, like, oh, we can use these other things. Let's give people permission, and then let's give credit where credit is due for their book.
Can we marry what Beth was saying about authentic learning experiences and authentic writing experiences with what I hope I'm pronouncing your name right, Lydia? Lydia might be saying about, I love the idea of recording sign language. So something that often happens in schools, in the States anyway, is that you take some sort of exam at the end. So if you were in a sign language course, you might have to go and prove that you know sign language in front of your instructor. Well, why not make it something that is authentic and create videos of sign language in a story like this in Book Creator that would actually have some use and can benefit the world, as opposed to just a test that nobody ever sees again. And then again, just like Beth was saying, this makes you want to do your best work because you know you're out there helping people, that they're relying on you.
Can I share a story too? We worked once with a learner who was selectively mute. Using Book Creator, she was able to demonstrate what she knew. She recorded herself, she embedded her own images, and she did the drawing. And actually, she was able to share the book with her classmates. And one of her classmates said, "Oh, she has a beautiful voice," because they hadn't heard her voice either. But there's so many ways. I mean, this is why we love Book Creator. I mean, so many different ways to use it. It looks like so many people in the chat are experienced with Book Creator users. But for those of you who are new, you have to know about this resources link. It takes you to the Book Creator website. There are phenomenal resources available by grade level, by content area. All, that's an embedded link right there. Mike, if you just want to click on the resources and it,
Oh, wait, let me get out. Let me.
yeah, you have to be in in read mode. So that will take you right to the,
Sorry, I don't like the side-by-side pages. Sorry.
that will
Yeah.
take you right to the Book Creator website with many resources. You can scroll down and see all kinds of ways without even logging in, without even signing in, all kinds of ideas that others, you can read what other learners have written and some of those other books that have been published with additional ideas to just get you started. The other thing too, Mike, if you want to go back, sorry, there's
Sorry.
a wealth of information, but the ultimate guide to embedding content. John, did you write this?
Say
I
it.
did not. No, I'm sorry. I did not. I believe that was
Oh.
Dan.
Okay, The Ultimate Guide to Embedding Content. This is a phenomenal book. Look how many people, 47,000 people have read it. Again, phenomenal ideas to really help you use. The sky is the limit with Book Creator, and you'll get so many additional ideas for how to use this for inclusive design and inclusive experiences. So I really wanted you to make sure that you knew about those particular links, the resources, and the ultimate guide.
John, do you want to answer Mo's question?
Yeah. So sorry about that. I turned my video on and then off again. So we do have a free version of Book Creator, and you don't necessarily, I'm going to say this and I'll probably get in trouble. You don't necessarily need a school email to sign up for the free version, right? You just have to have a Gmail account or an email or something. But the free version allows you to make 40 books, one library, and then we have a paid version that allows you to get 1,000 books, unlimited libraries. And if you are a school and you are a district that is interested in making that kind of purchase, then we do start offering discounts when you purchase more licenses. So it is very reasonable. In my mind, that's not me just saying that because I work for Book Creator. It's because I really believe it, right? If I drank, 5 or 10 less, Starbucks drinks or something like that, then I would be able to afford it. So it's definitely something, if you're really interested in this, definitely look into it, reach out to us. We'll be more than happy to discuss things. It does comply with student data privacy agreements with most districts. We have never been turned down by a district for any of our privacy information. So we are compliant with a lot of stuff, including like Ed Law 2D. We've signed a lot of privacy agreements with entire states and districts and things like that. So if that's something you're, again, interested in, please let us know. And my apologies for the background noise. I've got a couple kids getting ready to go to sports here. So we're going to have to bail here shortly. But I'll let you all finish with your...
We're almost done, John. I didn't even hear them
Yeah,
in the background. So they were good.
keep exploring. Yeah, as this shows, keep going deep underwater and you'll just keep discovering even new ideas, new features, new strategies, new ways to use Book Creator beyond what you ever imagined. Keep
And
exploring.
in addition to the links that were showing up in the chat, which were amazing, I always share this link with people when we talk about alt text, and people say, well, I don't know how to write alt text and what should I do? It's a really great guide from the Web Accessibility in Mind website, WebAIM, and it talks all about how to write good alt text. And so that link is in the picture there. It'll take you to the website. Oh, go ahead, Chris, sorry.
Oh, I was just going to say, you can't get better. You can't learn better than from an actual student, from an actual learner themselves. This video is from somebody who uses the product, who is a school-aged learner, who says, you know what, this is why I love it. This is how I use it. You should use it too. So go watch this video. It's like 10 minutes long and it's really powerful. Ruby, I think.
And it's one of our most watched YouTube videos. So believe it or not, by like a long shot. I'm not offended by that. None of my webinars have reached that level of popularity, but it is amazing.
That's great. I won't be offended either if ours does it, because this is a great video. It's fantastic. Questions. We've seemed to have had questions as we
all
went.
along. Yeah.
Yeah. Here, well, I'll put the link up again for the book with the link as well as the QR code, so you can all get into it. That information.
And Mike, I just sent you the chat. So if you are able to add that into the book, that would be awesome.
Perfect.
I did what I was supposed to do, which was to save the chat.
I got my note too, so I won't forget either. All right, perfect. Excellent. So
Well, and
there's your-
I just want to say to everybody, first of all, thank you for being here today, and you know, panelists and attendees both. We really do appreciate it here, and it was just remarkable. Every time I watched and listened to all of you, I learned something new, and I get new ideas, and that's part of why I love just not doing webinars sometimes, just letting other people take the reins, because I get to sit back and be a student. So I really do appreciate this. Everybody that's here really appreciate it as well. We will send a follow-up email. Our marketing department will send a follow-up email. If you don't get it this week, our marketing person's on vacation, so don't worry. But the video will be live on YouTube in the next day or two, and we're just really, really excited. So thank you, everybody, for being here. I appreciate it. Be safe out there, everybody, and happy bookmaking. And 365 team, awesome work. Thank you so much.
Thank you all. Appreciate it, John. Good seeing you. Everybody,
All right.
thank you so much for
Thanks,
participating.
everyone. Have a great night.
Thank
See
you.
everybody.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Bye.